Mr. Simon C. Lopez.
Good evening. My name is Simon Lopez. I have lived in Calexico for the last 45 years, spent 35 years in the school district. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the board for allowing me to appear before you and provide some responses as you consider an appointment for this particular position. I'd like to congratulate the other applicants on their on their willingness to serve the community of Calexico. I think there's a lot of strength in what's being shared tonight, and I thank them for their contributions. It makes our community that much stronger. The premise that brings me before you is that I spent quite a bit of my life in education, and under the premise that students are first and foremost. That is the reason a school district exists, for the purpose of providing an educational program for each and every one of the students involved, regardless of their background, regardless of their language, regardless of their capabilities. It is the school district responsibility to provide an adequate education that will bring them the skills to provide lifelong ability to self-sustain. During most of my career, I've served in a lot of different capacities. I pride myself in being a good listener. I listen to people as they share concerns with me, and I try to take from whatever they're sharing with me in order to be able to apply it to a particular solution of any given problem. One of the things that I would like to thank is to thank the staff, administration, teachers, and classified employees that I have known through the last 40-some years, because they provided valuable service to our community. Our community is generally seen as kind of a poor community, that our educational programs are lower quality, but that's not the case. Our students are as bright as anyone else in the world. They have demonstrated it through a lot of achievements in their lives. One of the things that I would like to do now is to come back to the school district, if God willing, and share the experiences that I've had, and provide that as a basis for what we'd like to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Calero.
Question number 1. If appointed tonight for the remainder of the term, what would be something you would want to accomplish, and how would you do it?
There are no personal goals in mind, other than to say that we'd like to work together with the board toward a common goal. Again, with the premise that students are first, and whatever decision is made by the board should be based on that premise. How is that decision going to affect students? Students cannot be last. Students are first. Then everything else comes. Whether it's their particular curriculum, whether it's the level of the level of a program that is being done. And one of the things that I would like to commend the staff on is that we have a lot of very hardworking individuals that like to provide the best possible service to students. And I would like to take advantage of those offers and those efforts from staff in order to be able to succeed, to provide successful programs. I would like to think of myself as having been a successful administrator. And I'll tell you that the success that I achieved was due to the willingness and effort of the staff that I work with. A lot of the ideas that were garnered and generated into particular programs were provided by staff. We simply got together, molded them into an effective program, and allowed them to develop. Thank you. And the other thing is that we like to make sure that we can communicate clearly to everyone. We are all stakeholders in this thing, from the community, the parents, the students, board members, administration, and staff. We're a large family, a large community working together, and in order for us to be effective and to work the most efficient way that we can is to provide clear, concise communication to everyone. Thank you.
Mr. Lopez, how many board meetings have you attended in the last 12 months?
I have not attended any meetings in the last 12 months. I make it a practice to go online and see what the agendas are and see where the direction the district is taking. I have a keen interest in what's going on. I just haven't shown up to the meetings.
Mr. Lopez, what do you think about education, and what would you do to accomplish that?
Obviously, I think education is very, very important. Having committed so much of my life to education, I would like to continue in the role as a board member to try to foster successful programs in the district for our students, to try to meet their particular needs. You will notice that some of you may remember that I was very involved in bilingual education because I saw a need, and I tried to provide my energy towards those particular needs. There are a lot of needs in a lot of different areas, and I think each area needs to be focused. Every student needs to be guided in the direction that they can. There's no one program that fits all kids. We need to attend every kid's needs.
What questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
There's a myriad of questions as always. One is to bring myself up to date as to where you are, but I'd like to know what the goals of the board are, when they were set, what kind of a time span they have, where are we going, what are we going to do with it, and focus on trying to understand those goals and see how my particular belief, my particular opinion fits into that, and try to mold it into a program that is successful for all students and for the community in general.
If selected, what do you propose to do to A, fix the budget problems, B, increase student achievement, C, improve the district climate?
budgets are fluid from month to month, from year to year, and especially in the economy that we've had in the last few years. You have to take that with a grain of salt, and you set a budget, you set a goal, you set an expectation, and you hope you realize the funding that comes with it. Sometimes it doesn't. Thus, you have to take a step back and realize that you have to reprioritize. Again, my priorities will always be based on how is this good for a student? Regardless of what the question is, regardless of what the issue, whether it's a salary, whether it's an increase in a particular program or whatnot, it's always going to be how does it affect students first.
Would you like me to repeat the second part, second and third?
Is this, okay, increasing student achievement? Again, in terms of student achievement, I think that one of the things that we have to realize is that we have to allow our staff to take ownership and leadership of the programs and curriculum that they're imparting. Whatever framework is given to us is just that, it's a framework. The teacher is standing in front of the class, giving instruction, and they have to be able to have flexibility to be able to adapt that program in order for a student to be able to achieve. I believe in that. Improving the district's climate, I think that, again, communication is something that we need to have clarity on in order to be able to understand what the role for each and every person in the district is, for the students, for the parents. And again, I'd like to be able to bring more parents into the school community actively on a daily basis if possible, to be able to help with a lot of the shortcomings that we have in terms of budget, that we have in terms of there are many areas in the school that I feel need to be strengthened. More opportunities need to be given to a lot of our own people as we choose future administrators. We need to provide a lot of clarity in the curriculum that we have.
Mr. Lopez, in current fiscal times, how will you prioritize expenditures to ensure quality educational services and student safety?
Student safety is foremost also. If students are our priority, we need to take care of them. From the physical buildings that we provide them to the healthy status of a classroom, cleanliness, to giving them the best, everything that's possible to promote interest in education. That's it.
Question number 7. What
Okay.
specific knowledge and experiences do you have that make you the best candidate for this position?
As I mentioned before, I've lived in Calexico for 45 years. I was an educator for 35 years. I served almost in every capacity. I served as a teacher, as a resource teacher, acting director, principal, personnel director, bilingual education, adult education. So I've covered the gamut. I've been involved in the community throughout in a lot of different levels, and I think I am the best candidate because I understand the workings of the school district, and I'm ready to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Board members, are there any follow-up questions? Seeing none? Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mrs. Annette Butner?
Good evening. My name is Annette Butner, and I'm hoping to secure the vacancy currently open on school board. Being from Calexico, I grew up here all my life and attended schools in the school district all the way from kinder through high school. I graduated from CHS in 1983, go Bulldogs, and then I moved on to the University of Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz, University of California, Santa Cruz. I moved back to the Imperial Valley about 15 years ago once I started having children, so that they could grow up and be surrounded in the same loving family and nurturing community environment that I had when I was growing up. My desire was for my children to have the advantages of being raised in a small, tight-knit community and to get the quality education that comes with that. And although I am now a single parent of 4 children who do attend the school district, I have always been actively involved in my children's education and school activities. I am also an employee of this school district, where I work directly with students for the after-school program ACES. For about the last 8 years, I have been actively involved serving on school site councils at the elementary, junior high, and senior high school levels. Also, for the last 5 years, I have been proactively involved attending school board meetings and its commissions. I was recruited by the former superintendent, Mr. Fergali, to participate in the solvency committee while our school district was experiencing economic crisis. I also serve now on the Finance Commission for the City of Calexico, and I continue to play an active role in my children's academic life. There is nothing that I wouldn't do for my children, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do to help this school district that now educates my children.
Thank you, Ms. Butner. Question number 1. If appointed tonight to this term, what would be something you would want to accomplish, and how would you do it?
Well, definitely transparency. I feel that the budget is required to meet the needs of our students, and the only way to accomplish this is if the governing board becomes more transparent in how it uses its funds and how decisions are usually made. In the past, we've seen previous boards they've left things to the last minute, and they've been unsuccessful at facing issues at the appropriate time, having to scramble at the last minute, trying to find a Band-Aid to fix things instead of addressing the real source of the problem. Just like the state takeover panic was an example of this. The school board urged us that by eliminating teachers, this was the only solution to save our district. But yet the real problems was, our excessive spending, like in legal fees and overall inefficiencies that we had. And of course we saw that there were many findings when they did that forensic audit that was made. As a trustee, I want to help our school board to become more progressive and proactive in the way it deals with issues. We need to think outside the box and look for answers to problems without sacrificing the quality of education that is offered in our schools. Thank you.
Mrs. Butner, how many board meetings have you attended in the last 12 months?
In the last 12 months I've attended, I would say about 97% of the meetings, except for when they've changed dates. Throughout the years, I've missed maybe a handful. I've been attending school board meetings for the past, for about the past 5 years consistently. I rarely miss a meeting. I do it because I enjoy it and I've learned a lot. And that's exactly why I want to be here, because I want to be a part of the decision-making that's going to affect my children's education.
Question number 3. What do you think about education, and what will you do to accomplish that?
Well, education is the law, obviously. Obviously it is the cornerstone to any civilized society. I look forward to working with the board towards lowering class size by hiring more teachers to efficiently educate our students. We need to focus on what happens inside the classroom. Currently we mostly speak of administrative affairs and issues here in the boardroom, but let's not forget where the education actually happens. We need to shift our energies to become less bureaucratic and instead treat our students as the beautiful and valuable human beings that they are.
Thank you, Ms. Butner. Question number 4. What question do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
Well, I have 2 questions. For each one of you as board members, what do you individually consider to be your greatest contribution to the school district? And is this question really going to be answered? That's it.
If selected, what do you propose to A, fix the budget problems, B, increase student achievement, C, improve the district climate?
To fix the budget problems, I would collaborate with the other 4 trustees to implement a reader-friendly monthly budget report, and do what we can to know how much is being spent and what we need to do next to take things from there. I would also work with the board to make deeper cost-benefit analyses on every single penny that is spent in the school district to ensure maximum efficiency, which will keep us and will maintain us in fiscal solvency. And to increase student achievement, we must engage our students. We can achieve this by giving teachers the freedom to teach however they feel best, instead of mandating to them how they should structure their lesson plans. We need to offer them more resources and opportunities to gain and apply new teaching skills and to make things fun in the classroom. My vision is to breathe new life into education. We need to make learning fun for our students and offer them engaging activities both in and out of the classroom. And of course, having the input from our principals during board meetings, this would also give us insight as to what's happening in our schools. It would give us their perception of how they see the direction of their school and what their needs are. And to improve the district climate, well, I know that this board has inherited a huge mess. You guys walked into a difficult, board term with all the financial struggles, but it seems that our community is still angry with the district because nothing substantial has changed with both the attitude and quality of education offered. Now we can turn this around by not repeating the same mistakes that the previous boards have made. We can achieve transparency by respecting simple protocols like posting our public meetings with adequate notice. Our board could be more inviting and accommodating, holding meetings when parents and students are expected in larger venues. And, such as school cafeterias, like we have in some cases. But simple things like this on behalf of the board demonstrate a real step and a real attempt to achieve transparency. It's a step in the right direction.
Question number 6. In current fiscal times, how will you prioritize expenditures to ensure quality educational services and student safety?
As a board member, I would work with the other trustees to review the educational and financial goals that were established and given priority at the recent board retreat. I will also like us to collaborate to establish more accountability over services and payments. We need to draw the most out of all of our resources, and we should require cost-benefit analyses again for every penny that we spend. By doing this, we will assure that the $70 million budget will guarantee quality of education and student safety.
Thank you, Ms. Butner. Last question. What specific knowledge and experiences do you have that make you the best candidate for this position?
Well, having worked for the Catholic Church as a youth minister for about 18 years, I learned how to write and administrate grants, write proposals, and work with budgets. I also worked with the County of Imperial for about 5 years as a social worker, where I gained experience in, again, working with budget reporting, preparing state and federal monthly reports, maintaining compliance with state and federal program regulations. I realize I'm not a financial whiz and I don't claim to know everything, but I'm not afraid to learn whatever is necessary to do what I can for this district. I have the time that it takes to read, study, and learn whatever is necessary to read and study and learn. I have the intelligence and the drive and the commitment to serve on school board. I believe in putting students first, such that I am willing to give up my job as a district employee. Being from a single parent household, my children will depend on scholarships, grants, and financial aid for college because realistically, I know that I'm not going to be able to provide for all of their higher education costs. And this is exactly why I want to serve on school board, to make sure that all of our students are offered every opportunity possible to go on to college. We need to work harder to bring more resources into the school district for our students. And that is why I believe that my presence on school board will bring a unique insight as a parent and employee. I am knowledgeable as to what goes on within the schools, as well as working with the climate, as well as with the working climate of the school district. I will work collaboratively. I work well collaboratively with others, and I think I would make the logical choice to fill this current vacancy.
Thank you, Mrs. Butner. Are there any follow-up questions, board members?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Eric Ortega?
Good evening. My name is Eric Ortega, and I'm a long-life resident and stakeholder here in the community. I'm been married for 11 years, and I'm the father of 2 children. I would like to thank the Calexico Board of Trustees for the opportunity of being considered for the current vacancy that is on the board, and thank the other candidates that are participating as well. For several years, I've volunteered in many capacities on various local organizations. I believe my participation has prepared me to make a meaningful contribution to the school board. I feel that being an effective board member requires collaboration, creative thinking to ensure our resources are invested in our classrooms and that our tax dollars are used effectively and efficiently. One of the most important skill sets I possess is my ability to listen, consider all information presented. As a local businessman, I've learned how to be a good negotiator and have developed skills to work with people on both sides of an issue. That is why I feel that I would be the best candidate. Again, I would like to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. We'll start with Mr. Calderon.
Okay, question number 1. If appointed tonight for the remaining of the term, what would be something you will want to accomplish and how will you do it?
I would like to establish a cooperative partnership with people that come to speak to the board, whether it's teachers, parents, students, or community members. I would accomplish that by being available, accessible, and approachable to listen to all their concerns.
Mr. Ortega, how many board meetings have you attended in the last 12 months?
Over the years, more than a few. This year, it's not been very many.
Mr. Ortega, what do you think about education and what would you do to accomplish that?
I think that education gives us knowledge of the world and around us, and it helps us build opinions and have points of view on things in life. And I think it's a lifelong process, and we should continue pursuing it throughout life.
Thank you. Question number 4. What questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
First would be, what do teachers need to increase student achievement? What resources or materials do they need to empower them in their job of educating the students? And I'd ask the board what they feel is the #1 challenge right now facing them today.
Mr. Ortega, if selected, what do you propose to do to A, fix the budget problems, B, increase student achievement, C, improve the district climate?
Well, like all budgets, there has to be a collaboration among the board as to what revenues are projected, what actually comes in, and how it will be allocated. As far as increasing student achievement, there has to be engagement with the students as well as parental involvement. To improve the district climate, I think, safety is a priority, and so that the students can feel safe, comfortable, and excited coming to school.
Mr. Ortega, in current fiscal times, how will you prioritize expenditures to ensure quality educational services and student safety?
Again, I feel students are the #1 priority, and teachers as well as safety. So that's how I would prioritize the expenditures.
Question number 7. What specific knowledge and experiences do you have that make you the best candidate for this position?
As I indicated earlier, I am a local businessman and my background is in business administration. What all that entails is, of course, organizing, planning, budgeting, and I think those are essential skills to have in helping this board oversee the district, which deals on a day-to-day basis with those components.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Does the board have any follow-up questions? Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Mr. Lorenzo Calderon, Jr.?
Good evening, members of the board and members of citizens of Calexico. My name is Lorenzo Calderon. There's many reasons why I'm here today, but mainly I was born and raised here in Calexico. I am a product of Calexico. I've lived here most of my life, with the exception when I left to attend the University of San Diego. I come from a family of educators. All my sisters are teachers or have worked for the education department. In fact, my father was a classified at one time and now enjoying retirement. I'm married, been married for 25 years now. My wife is also a bulldog. I have 4 children that I also have attended schools here in Calexico. My oldest has recently graduated from San Diego State here at San Diego. I have 2 children that are currently attending IVC, and 1 that is a junior at the Calexico High School. I'm currently employed for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I've been employed for 27 years and a half, and currently assigned as an associate warden. Out of those 27 years, 10 years have been part of the management team. And these are some of the reasons why I feel that I'm qualified for this job today. Some of the experience that I've acquired have been managing a budget of $122 million. I also have submitted budget proposals and allocations of funds. I've been responsible for 130 employees' salary, wages, and benefits. I've also been an asset in negotiation with unions in our local unit. I've also conducted formal and informal investigations. I've also been part of the employee discipline at our prison. I've also been instrumental in training our staff. Without training, I believe that we can't accomplish our goals, and that's why I feel it's important. I also have a degree from San Diego State in criminal justice. Some of my community services have been coaching Bob Warner and freshman football. I've also been part of the police commission of Calexico. And I've had the privilege to be part of the Pathways to Sovereignty Committee here with the Calexico Unified School District. Like everyone that's here tonight, I think the main focus here is what's right for and good for their students. I think we should put our students before anything, regardless of fiscal limitations and so forth. I believe that education is the key to success. Like me, I was able to get an education, make a career out of it, and now I'm at probably close to retirement. I plan to retire in December, and that's why I'm here, because I will have the time to devote to meet our goals and priorities that this school district has at this point. I'm also a team player. I would have to be a team player in order to survive in a prison setting. Let me give you a little story that I once had a counselor at Calexico High School, and I won't mention her name, but she told me, Lorenzo, you need to correct your ways. You need to get some sense of direction, because if you don't, one of these days you're going to wind up in prison. Well, she was correct. I did wind up in prison, but on the good side. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to provide my experience and assistance to this team. I believe in Calexico. I've had many opportunities in the past to leave Calexico, but because of this community that we have, I've remained here. I made a family here, and now I want to contribute to the rest of our future, and that is our kids' education. Thank you.
Ms. Zuno. Ms. Vizcarra.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Question number 1. If appointed tonight for this term, what would be something you want to accomplish and how would you do it?
After listening to all the candidates, it's no secret that what is important here is student achievement. Also, I would like to try to balance the existing budget, because we all know that without a budget, we can't afford or we cannot provide the tools necessary for these stakeholders, teachers, administrators, to commit and to set priorities and accomplish these priorities. How would I do this? I would provide all students with a learning environment that is safe, drug-free, and conducive to learning. I would provide ongoing professional development for teachers and administrators to achieve these standards. I would empower all stakeholders to commit and successfully accomplish short and long-term goals. I would work as a team with the board and our community to build a shared mission and vision for our district. This would articulate goals, action, steps, and priorities of these goals that would dictate the use of district funds in a responsible fiscal manner. I would develop and implement supporting systems to monitor academic progress or lack of it. I would also, along with my colleagues, I would continue to review and analyze student achievement and reinforce progress through parent support and cooperation.
Mr. Calderon, how many board meetings have you attended in the last 12 months?
One, ma'am. However, like everybody, this is a close community. I have acquaintances, I have friends that work for the school district and have been abreast of what's going on. Also, technology, which should be one priority for our students, the internet. And this is because of the profession that I have.
Question number 3, what do you think about education and what would you do to accomplish that?
I believe education is the key to our children's success in our future. And the reason why I think this way is that education is important for our kids to succeed in life. I would accomplish this by supporting our teachers and administrators to create the best learning environment of our students, especially with the transition of the new Common Core standards. I would also ensure that the students are prepared to succeed with the national standards, which will be necessary to fully be implemented by the year 2000-2015 school year. I would support student with extracurricular activities that would assist the student to become a 21st century citizen. I would also continue to review and analyze students' achievements, reinforce progress through parent support and cooperation.
Mr. Calderon, what questions do you have for the board to help you prepare to take on this commitment if chosen?
What was the question again? Number 4?
What questions do you have for the, number 4?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What questions do you have
Okay.
for the board?
Well, as I stated in my application, the questions I would have for the board would be, why is that none of the Calexico Unified School Districts are meeting the state API of 800? Second, what are their short and long-term goals to meet this target? And third, is there a system of evaluation and accountability for this progress? And last, what can I do to help you to meet these goals?
Mr. Calderon. Question number 5. If selected, what do you propose to do to A, fix the budget problems, B, increase student achievement, and C, improve the district climate?
We all know that all these areas cooperate with each other, but I think most important, a physical balanced budget is most important. Why? Because if we have a balanced budget, we can afford to provide the tools necessary for these stakeholders to be able to educate our kids. How I would do this? I would work as a team with the board and our community to build a shared vision and mission for the district. I would clearly articulate goals, steps, actions, and dictate the use of funds for a responsible physical manner. Oops. Hold on. This is clearly and consistently be communicate the budget and will be properly allocated to accomplish these shared priorities. How would I accomplish this? And I think I could use my experiences where I work now. I would probably assemble a meaningful review of all areas of the budget. The goal of this committee would be to reduce unnecessary expenditures, including programs that have no measurable benefit to our students or taxpayers of this district. This committee would craft ways to reduce expenditures and redistribute funds within policy to areas most desired needs. Success in this area would be measured by both a full understanding by everyone how the budget is being spent, and after determining the recommendation, reducing and restricting the budget to be able to determine why we are operating a surplus or a deficit budget. Once we would have transparency, we would achieve and be able to have a sound budget. I would also review available fundings, grants, and to ensure that we are taking every physical advantage possible to adequately fund the needs of this district. That's all.
In current fiscal times, how will you prioritize expenditures to ensure quality education, educational services, and student safety?
I believe that this should be a major area of importance for each board member. The current and future physical sovereignty of our district. I would meet as a team with the superintendent, business assistant superintendent to gain a clear picture of the steps needed to be taken to qualify us as a district and keep us out of receivership from the state. Our district is in 3 years of program improvement, which means that too many of our students are still not meeting the gains in the subject of English and math as measured by the state assessment. I would work closely with all board members to review the district local educational agency plan. Work closely with the administrative team and associations to provide leadership, provide support, and identify the resources of our school needs.
Mr. Calderon, what specific knowledge and experiences do you have that make you the best candidate for this position?
Again, as I mentioned before, I've had an opportunity to work as the management team in Centinela State Prison. We have a budget of $122 million, which has required and exposed me to make sound decisions regarding budgets. We all know that there is no agency in the state right now that is going through physical crisis. Because of the experience, I think I can be of assistance to this organization. I also can make decisions under stress. Sometimes we have to make discretionary decisions, and I'm here to help. Been a long resident of Calexico. I will have the time, and I will devote my time to become a better district. In closing, I'd like to leave by quoting something from someone who impacted our lives of our children through his amazing down-to-earth wisdom. And this is Dr. Seuss. Sometimes questions are complicated, but the answers are simple. While reviewing your questions, I realized that I might not have all the right answers, but I have one simple answer. I want to be part of this board, and together make Calexico Unified School District the district everyone wants to enroll their children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Are there any follow-up questions, board members? Seeing none, thank you. Board members, we now move on to the selection of the board members. As noted by legal counsel, in order to appoint, we need to have a 3-0 vote. Correct, Mr. Weiler?
Yes, tonight you need a unanimous 3-0 vote.
Okay, so I will entertain direction or a motion, whether, or actually, I want to ask the board, do you want to go as listed and vote per person, or would you like to go forward and nominate? If so, you can propose a candidate in their second, and then you go to vote, and we will do a roll call vote. If no single candidate receives the majority, which is in this case a 3-0 vote, I need to ask whether we will go to a second meeting, and but I'd like to hear from you, board members. Do you want to propose? Do you want to go down the list and vote like that, or do you have a preference? Do you have a nomination? And if so, like I said, when we go to the vote, it'll be a roll call vote.
That works for me. You want to go down the list? That's fine.
Mr. Calderon?
So if we go down the list, do we make motions or do we just vote?
No, I need a motion and a second,
motion
and then a
and-
roll call vote.
Okay. Do you want to go down the list?
You could do that, or you could motion.
It's up to you, that's fine. I don't care. Down the list?
Okay. By consensus, it is that we will go down the list. Is there a motion to nominate Vincent Cuevas?
I'll make the motion to nominate Vincent Cuevas.
Motion by Mr. Calderon. Is there a second? Seeing none, motion dies for lack of a second. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Benjamin Horton? Mr. Weiler, if there's no motion, it just doesn't go?
That's correct.
Okay, motion dies for lack of a first. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Espino?
Motion to appoint Mr. Espino.
Motion by Ms. Zuno Vizcarra. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Second by Mr. Calderon. Roll call vote. Mr. Calderon?
Aye.
Ms. Zuno Vizcarra?
Aye.
Aguilar? No. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Daniel Romero? Motion dies for lack of a motion. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Simon Lopez? Motion dies. Is there a motion to appoint Ms. Annette Butner? Motion dies. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Eric Ortega? Motion dies. Is there a motion to appoint Mr. Lorenzo Calderon? I'll make a motion. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Mr. Weiler, can you please provide?
Let me have one moment to check my emails.
Okay,
I've just accessed about 80 attorneys.
okay. Thank you.
And so far, no one disagrees with me. You now have the option of scheduling another meeting. You are missing a board member. The question becomes whether that board member can vote because she was not here. This meeting has been videotaped, and I understand the interviewees, the candidates, were captured on the video. So there's pictures for body language and obviously sound, and Board Member Duarte would have access to that video. And the consensus among us attorneys is that that allows her to vote. So if you want to schedule another meeting and see if Ms. Duarte can break the deadlock, that's your option. But you have to do it within the board member. The successful candidate would have to be selected and sworn in within the time frame.
So would that entail all candidates or just the one that got 2-1 or what?
All candidates would still be on the table.
But we don't vote again, right? She just votes with whatever we did. Well, whatever we voted right now stays. She just votes, right?
No, you would again ask for a motion and ask for a second. You could do it in terms of there's 8 people on the list. Does anyone want to make a motion and then ask for a second?
Okay.
And then have a roll call vote.
Okay, but we don't have to go through the interviews again. She needs to look that up herself, right? Is that what you said? We don't need to go through the interview process again.
That would be correct. And I presume none of the candidates are objecting to this process. Everybody shaking their head no, I think, that they don't object. Okay. No one has objected to that process.
So for clarity purposes, you're saying there's no interview, the interview part is done. Now, comes back all for reselection?
Right.
Is that what you're
The
clarifying?
interviews have occurred. They have been videotaped. Ms. Duarte will have access to the videotape and can listen to it and watch it. And then if you wish, you can schedule another special board meeting to consider again the selection and appointment of a provisional board member.
Okay. Board members? Is there a motion do we have to do it based on a motion?
Well,
Or we just
actually, it would be a special meeting.
It would be a
and
special meeting,
Yeah, and you
okay.
can call it. I believe your dates are limited, so you might want to check to see if you will have these board members available for any of those limited dates.
Board members, what is your availability next week?
I understand Ms. Duarte is available on Thursday.
That is correct. She will be back in town next Thursday. Well, she'll be back Wednesday night, so she'll be available Thursday.
We have until Friday.
Okay, all right. based on everyone's availability. I'm sorry.
Right, no, we have until Friday, right? The 9th is the 60th.
Either next Thursday or Friday.
That's the 60th day.
Yeah,
Friday,
Thursday.
Friday is the 60th day.
No. Okay, so we'll go for next Thursday. Is that consensus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ruth, definitely back, not until Thursday.
Yes, I was able to confirm with her this morning that she would not be here this evening and that she would not be able to return until next Wednesday evening, and so that the soonest that she could be in attendance at a meeting would be next Thursday evening.
Thursday then?
So we will have a second special meeting on next Thursday. All right. Thank you for your participation. We will go on to the next item. Mr. Weiler?
The Brown Act within Government Code Section 54-957.1, Subdivision A, Subpart 5, provides that the open session announcement of closed session action to dismiss an employee shall be deferred until the first public meeting following the exhaustion of administrative remedies. This announcement was therefore deferred until this meeting. In closed session on June 28, 2013, the board voted to take the following action. Moved by Member Duarte, seconded by Member Vizcarra, regarding a classified employee serving as a health technician, employee number 154-831, to approve the recommendation of dismissal from employment and to dismiss this employee effective immediately. The roll call vote was as follows. Voting for approval were trustees Aguilar, Duarte, Vizcarra, and Calderon.
Thank you. We will now go into closed session. No? Oh, that was it. No. You just needed to make that announcement.
Correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. We will now adjourn at, thank you, at 8:18. Thank you.